Hi there, and welcome to a quick honing video. At least I hope it's going to be quick. I'm about to do a shave comparison between this Geneva Cutlery razor that has a Vermont Grey edge on it and this Carl Friedrich Urn razor that has an Olympus edge on it. I have looked at both of these edges under the microscope, and both razors have a couple of shaves on them. The edge on this razor looks really good, and then the edge on this razor, again the Vermont Grey edge, actually doesn't look as great as I would hope for only a couple of shaves. I picked an area that shows a little wear. That area is just here on the heel side of the center. I'll show you what that looks like now. So I'm going to refresh, do a very quick refresh of this razor on the Vermont Grey, mottled gray stone, and I'm going to treat the stone as I would any other slate, which means I'm going to use the flattening plate on it and raise slurry on it, because if you bought this, that's what you would want to do. You can see I wetted this stone. I simply held it under the faucet for a while just to see how it was handling water. As you can see, water has soaked into it. So a part of this will be a little demonstration of how to get slurry on the stone, and then how to keep the stone hydrated while you're using it. It's not difficult. And I'm hopefully going to show you that it's not difficult. So I'm simply holding it under running water, putting it back. I'm going to wet. I'm going to use the Shapton glass diamond lapping plate. That's overkill for this because I'm not really flattening the stone. I'm just raising a slurry. This is a fast way of raising a slurry, using no pressure. There's nothing to really tear a diamond out of here, and these plates are high quality, and they do not typically have that problem. They will if you use a lot of pressure. Now I'm simply going to texture the surface using the Vermont Grey slurry stone. So now I have a nice slurry. And so the next thing, since this stone will start to absorb some of the moisture, it's going to leave the slurry particles and absorb some of the water. So simply gonna add water, and that's all there is really to keeping a stone hydrated that tends to soak up water. You just make sure your slurry is as fresh as it needs to be for the thickness you want, and then thin it down. So I'm going to just work on this for a while. I'll probably cut away in the video and come back. But I can see that the moisture at the top is already starting to thin. So I'm going to add a little water, and I'm going to increase my slurry a little bit. Later on, I won't be increasing the slurry, but I want to make sure I do a nice thorough refresh. This will probably be the last time I use the stone. And I want this edge to be as good as possible. So you can see I'm building more slurry up. Gonna water that down. So now I have a nice wet surface. Now if this was a different circumstance, if I was using a, working on a knife and I was doing a whole series of them using stones that were soakers, soak up water, I'd do this over a bath of water and just keep splashing on the surface just to keep it wet. But as you can see, I'm able to make some progress here. I've got a thin line of slurry and water coming over each edge about equally, each side of the edge about equally, and I'm not using a ton of pressure. I'm letting the stone do the cutting. I'm simply letting the stone and the slurry do the cutting. The edge is already good, so I want to. All I'm really doing is some rework here. But we'll do a sort of a mini refresh. Now the goal is get the surface very wet. Now we're in almost a misty slurry stage. And so now what I should be feeling on the stone is much more what you would feel if you were using plain water on the stone. I'm going to finish with soapy solution and a misty slurry, so I'll be thinning this again. You feel that I have very nice feeling stone, by the way. Mottled gray is a very nice feeling stone. It does not have the super velvety feel of the Escher, and it certainly is not the price of an Escher or even a high quality Thuringian. An Escher is a Thuringian, but a high quality Thuringian not sold by Escher. Okay, time for, I can feel the water soaking through. So now, still leaving the misty slurry on there. Now we're at a misty slurry stage. You would not be able to see the mist, but I can. Very little slurry. I'm going to move to soapy water here. And the soap in this solution will tend to prevent, it thickens up. It thickens up this mix that's on the surface, and so it will tend to dry. It'll tend to soak through more slowly. And an advantage of a stone that soaks like this with a soapy solution is that as it soaks through, you have a nice, very, very thin layer of soap on the surface. Now I'm also getting there because as I do these X strokes I'm pulling solution off of the stone. Here I'm just working on the scratch pattern. The soapy solution is just popping over the edge. However, I'm definitely now in a situation where I have less and less solution on the surface. It's now in that situation where it's a thin film of soapy water, and so we're in my view time to, I would say the refresh is done, and so it's now time to test and take a look at the edge. Okay, let's test. That is pushing into the cloud. Very good. Let's go take a look at the edge. So I'm going to pause and I will be right back. I took a very close look at the edge, front and back. It's looking extremely regular, and I will show you a shot of the same area that I showed you the first time. It's this area right here. So I'll show you a microscope image of what that looks like now. And let's do a test. So we have pushing into the cloud, which is good. A little bit of resistance feeling back here at the heel, but very sharp everywhere else. I mean, this is still very sharp, and it's probably going to clean up and get completely push into the cloud sharp with a little stropping. So I'm going to leave it, and it looks good. I mean the quality of the edge is extremely good. So I'm certain it's beyond where it needs to be for shaving sharp. Let's test the Olympus edge. That's very good. I think I'm going to do, just to be fair, I'm going to do a quick refresh on the Olympus edge for this, just so that it's a fair comparison. All right, here's the Olympus stone. I'm going to go through pretty much the same procedure. This is either a slate or a shale stone. It certainly has that makeup to it. I like this stone quite a bit. So I'm going to, but it certainly has its own nature. This stone, yeah, I'm just going to treat it as I would any other stone. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure the diamond plate is cleaned off here. Going to raise a slurry. This stone is a much darker stone. The slurry is much darker. almost black. And let's see here, I need to do a little, move the, I have, this is the Geneva Cutlery that has the Vermont Grey edge on it, and so I'm going to move that over, out of the way. And let's get going. Let's finish this edge up. Again, I'm just letting the stone do the work. Stone and the slurry do the work. I have minimal pressure, just enough pressure to keep the apex in complete contact. And my sense, the nice thing, well, my sense of this stone, of the Olympus stone, is I have a much better sense of the stone, of the edge on the stone. I have more feedback from this stone of what's happening at the edge. And that's not to say that I didn't have feedback on the Vermont Grey. I did. This is enhanced in comparison. The surface texture of this stone is different, and so that's, you know, that's what you would expect. It's not the same stone. I'm adjusting pressure based on the feedback that the stone is giving me. I'm going to water down. Same thing I did with the Vermont Grey. Oops. There you go. You can see how dark that slurry is. The feel of the edge just changed. I have a hard way to, it's difficult for me to explain. I don't know how to explain that, other than the contact. I can feel contact along the whole surface here, especially as I roll slightly. But just going back and forth, I can feel that I have good contact along the whole surface of the edge, and that feeling changed. And so what I suspect is that the abrasive characteristics of the stone did their work, and I felt that change. I'll water down again. Then we will go to this. This I'm going to pull off. There we go. Now it's still very black. And so I don't know, I have never tried it. I've always worked with this stone with a slurry on it, but it may be that this stone self-slurries a little bit. But my undercut here is pretty terrific. And so I'm going to move now to soapy water. So here's the soapy water solution. Same process that I just did, just a different stone. See, and as before, the feel now is super glassy. This is just in the, I'm just refining now. I mean, when I say refining, I was refining before. This is just adding that little extra bit more, trying to get just a little bit extra bit more from the stone. This is, so if you were someone who went until the edge stopped, if I had gone to plain water, I could feel, I could feel when I had the misty slurry stage here, or just before I went to this stage, I could feel the edge being grabbed by the stone, but I had a misty slurry, I had a slurry, and that helps to prevent that feeling. Now, if I had gone to just this misty slurry and water, I would have gotten to the point where the razor wants to stop on the stone. And this procedure, pushing it with some sort of a surfactant, something that reduces the friction on the surface, the feeling of friction on the surface. This allows you to push the edge just a little further than you would get when the razor stops. Does this matter? I don't know. It's just something I do. A lot of others do it now too. It's only a few more strokes, and it's worked out well for me in the past, so I continue to do it. All right, let's see where we are. Quick refresh, we're still under 10 minutes here, and I'm taking longer than I typically would because I'm chatting. Okay, we're all dried off, and we are, oops, gotta get that in frame. All right, so that is very, very good. That is really excellent everywhere. Yes, silently pushing into the packing peanut. So that's what we want. I'm going to do some more laps. And in this area of the peanut seems to be a little rougher, a little more resistive. So I'll use that as a gauge to see if I can get even just a little more. Sorry about clearing and sniffling. I'm still dealing with my remains of this cold. Hopefully I'll be back to my normal state of health soon. Okay. Let's see if just a few more strokes did anything for us. Sorry about that. All right, have we improved it, or did we get as far as we could go with this stone? No, I'd say we improved it. I'd say that little bit helped a little bit. A little bit of work helped a little bit on the sharpness. All right, let's go take a look at this under the microscope, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I just spun the Olympus stone and did about 10 laps. Just to 10 laps on very watered down. I basically washed the surface and just did 10 quick laps. We'll check again. That is absolutely silent, pushing into the cloud. Very, very nice. Okay, here is, I'm going to show you a picture of the edge. And that picture was taken right there. And now I'm going to go shave with this urn razor, Carl Friedrich urn, and the Geneva Cutlery razor, and see how an Olympus edge compares to a Vermont Grey edge. Thanks for joining me. Bye.